Hello and welcome back to another. Just kidding. This is the first one ever. My name is Partial Charge, and I have decided to start recording some Netrunner games, and posting them mostly for my own benefit. But if you enjoy them, that would be stupendous. So this is my Los deck. Tries to play pretty standard criminal economic warfare based around gaining money when the corp reses ice, deresing key bits of ice, forcing res with forged or trashing. That's usually great too. And then using things like Temujin Contract and Desperado to gain loads of cash. Oh yeah, account siphons in here too. Good times. Okay, so I'm up against an ETF. I've been seeing a lot of moons lately. And honestly, this is a pretty mediocre opening hand uh, against moons or glacier ETF. So we're going to mulligan this. I'm kind of looking for maybe a mongoose special order medium. Because if it's moons, I want to close out fast. Obviously, I get none of that, and I go from one fairly mediocre hand to another. So what I want to do here is evaluate really early on whether they're going to go for I'm going to speed this up, not that fast. I want to evaluate early on whether they are going to go horizontal or vertical and assess my strategy from there. So first thing is a moon and a double install. Right. It's getting ready for moons. I have to get rid of that moon before it gets any worse. So he is going to use it. That's fine. We'll draw one to see what I get. A legwork would be great right now. A Temujin contract, a Desperado, any of things, even a career fair, so I can get that Earthrise going for the cheap. Not going to happen. So I draw one, and then I decide to go ahead and siphon because YOLO, I have no resources down. I can afford to wait on the Earthrise, and um, a 15 credit swing for a single click is pretty dang good. They take some while to decide. That's fine. I'm gonna poke R&D. Oh no, I'm sorry. I poke HQ again because he drew a bunch of cards, and boom, there we go. Rewarded with a steal. Not a terrible first turn. Set him back a little bit. Gave myself a bank. Nabbed an agenda. Only regret is that we didn't have an error on the table pre-steal to go ahead and clear those tags and accelerate my game even further. They res a Jeeves, and I'm just like, yep, this is Moon. They're going to use it to gain a little bit of bank back up, plus put ice down, so 4 credits and an install on this turn. -2 for the Jeeves res, still pretty good. Now I want to get rid of that Jeeves, but I don't feel like I can yet. If I had a Temujin, maybe, throw it on the Jeeves, run it, trash it next turn. Again, not going to happen. Now, again, I feel like I'm playing Moon, so I can't afford to face check any ice unless I have a Mongoose on the table and 3 clicks. Because it could be Fairchild 3 or Architect, both of which can just accelerate the Moon's game out of control. So I'm not gonna gain my Los creds here yet. I'm debating between running and drawing. I decided to draw once. That's good. Now I'm looking a little bit better. Now I can poke around, and there's the Architect. I can poke around with this Desperado and still maintain, some economy coming in. We're going to play the Employee Strike to try to deny some creds as they install, and then we see just how cheeky this fellow was being and how bad their opening hand probably was. They threw down a naked efficiency committee and they used the G's to score it. And they gave up almost all their money to do so. So I'm going to poke HQ a few times. Heart. Love you too. I totally should have run that, especially after the Desperado hit the table, which I'm going to say here in chat because I like to repeat myself, I guess. So we probably want to get some draws in and some HQ poking this turn. Yep, and there's a Temujin. That's great. So we're going to check R&D because I don't want to drop the Temujin unless it's the first turn. And now, of course, we know the Fairchild 3 is coming too. So he's got an Architect in hand. Got a Fairchild 3 coming next turn. I want to get some resources down, so we got to clear that second tag. They go on to just use G's to recover more economy, which is fine. That means I get some more free accesses. Yep, and there goes probably the Architect, right? Because they can't res the Fairchild, so I still don't want to face check. So we'll draw once, hoping for... Oh, no, that's right. I go ahead and go for the 10 credit turn, which is what you get running running a server 3 times with Desperado. Oh, I don't go for the 3 credit turn. I'm bad at remembering what I did. I run twice, and then I also get the draw going, because you have to draw cards, which can be really hard against the Moons. And now I'm kind of expecting to see the Fairchild 3 go on Archives, and I'm willing to click through it one time, because they will spend 6, and then I will gain 2 from the res, 1 from the Desperado, and 4 from the Temujin contract. So that's a 7 credit turn for me, which is not bad, and they spend 6. They have a thing resed, but that's okay. They're gonna res ice. It's gonna happen. Obviously, it takes me a little while to decide, or it takes them a little while to decide to install. They said this was a relatively new deck for them, so some of these turns are a little slow. Oh, I don't decide to do it that turn. That's right. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and trash the Jeeves. And if memory serves, I actually do this just in time because of something else that's about to come up. So we'll go ahead and trash that. Draw one more time, and there is that beautiful, beautiful goose. Go ahead and career fair the Aaron just to keep moving. They want to sneak anything else out or anything else I snipe now for the rest of the game. Accelerate my game. Let me siphon Carefree. Boom, Ultraviolet. Yep. So this is a pretty big game accelerator for ETF. And if they had G's on the table, it's even worse for me because it's already 9 clicks of efficiency for one turn. It can be awkward to draw that many cards, but it's 9 clicks of efficiency, so it's a power turn. And if they had G's on the table, it's 10 clicks of efficiency for one turn, which is just... I mean, it almost makes it almost makes hitting Architect look good, because that's like giving them 2 free clicks, plus some tutoring, plus some, retrieval, so they almost feel comparable to me sometimes. I'm going to try to speed up a little bit while they think some more. Okay, there we go. They've pitched some cards, and now it's my turn, and now, unfortunately, now I don't have the economic advantage I had before, but I still think I am going to go ahead and run the Archives. Yep. This is a 13 credit swing. You can see I'm like, I know it's the Fairchild. Yep, so my cursor goes over the clicks. I lose them. And then I gain my cash while they spend. And I probably won't get to use Sec Test this turn, but I'll save 1. And then I also I don't really expect to need to break into remotes that I can't elsewise get into. So I'll lose the Maxwell James. Could have pitched both Sec Test, kept the Maxwell James for a surprise play. I wanted to hang on to the Sec Test just in case the game dragged out a little bit and I needed a reliable, credit income. They dirtle this turn, taking 3. Oh, that's right. They take 2 and they play The old friends. I do wonder if that'll hit the most wanted list soon. That'll be interesting. So they install a Sansan City grid, which was a little bit of a surprise to me, and they bring Jeeves back out. Gross. Now they have some sick plays that they can make. They can they get a food on that server 5. They can score it in one turn if I leave it. So that's no good. So I'm pretty sure, if you remember from before, I'm pretty sure that's an architect on R&D. So I'm looking and I want to start pressuring. So I'm going to install these and I'm going to say, hey, you better defend that R&D, bucko, because it's a 6 credits to get those going. But now with Desperado, if that's an architect, if I am correct, then this is a net 2 cost for me to poke R&D, and that's pretty good to start deep digging to really put some pressure on. They think real hard and they go, yeah, okay, res that. I get my Los money. That's fine with me. I was correctly predicted the architect. I go in and I wish that I could trash that, but I cannot afford to do so. Plus, he's already got one on the table, so that's fine. Now, I want to get this Temujin. I want to get this new Temujin on R&D, but the timing is really awkward here. I need also to see things like Siphon, maybe another Abagnale, and I have a card I can afford to just pitch in my second errand, so I go ahead and draw, and there's a special order. Great. Now if I need a Paperclip or an Abagnale, Abagnale, I should look that up, then I can find it. I think that, yeah, this is another time where they take quite a bit of time thinking, so we'll speed this up a little bit. They apologize repeatedly throughout this game for taking so long, but it doesn't. I don't mind. I have the time, and Moons is a complicated deck to play. Moons gives you so many decisions. Okay, and there they go. They go for it. They res Jeeves and play an Ultraviolet again. You decide to go for it after a long time, and then it takes them a long time to decide what to install and what to discard. Now, see, this is so brutal. They play this Ultraviolet. They fill their hand from 4 to 8 cards. They get to install 2 of them, gaining the ETF credit, and then they only have to throw 1 card away. Also, they gained 4 credits from the Ultraviolet. That's such an efficient card. I love that card. Now you think. What are you going to throw away? It's that, whatever that was. Okay. So now I'm going to poke HQ because at this point, it's click 1. I'm not scared of a barrier. I'm no longer scared of an architect. And with 3 clicks, I can click through a Fairchild, so it's fine. So I see the Eli. I go ahead and click through because I got to keep poking. Yes, there we go. He's drawing so many cards. There's bound to be a decent number of agendas in HQ by now. So I grab one. I get some errand counters, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, let's get Siphon back online here soon. Now this is a little bit risky, but I'm willing to do it. I've seen the barrier now. So I special order for my last click, maintaining 6 cards in my hand, and I pitch the Paperclip so that I don't have to spend the click installing it. I can just grab it when I hit the next barrier. Eli, or spoiler alert, this deck is also playing vanilla. And this is slightly risky because, of course, Arc Lockdown is a card that exists. But I do have Mammon and Femme Fatale and Inside Job in this deck, so I'm by no means locked down if the Paperclip is gone. But you have to go so fast against this kind of deck that I'm willing to take the risk. Okay, so they do another 3 credits and then friends because they've got the Jeeves on the table. And they make what I think is a pretty questionable install here of AAL and Moons. They're throwing Moons down naked with no clicks left to install. So, I mean, I have to go get the Moons. They res this, and I wait a little while because I'm like, oh, okay, obviously they're going to install something else. But I wait for a while, and they don't. looking, thinking, and so I finally ask, like, hey, do you have any action? And they're like, oh, yeah, no, sorry. So, I mean, I just take the click, and for free, basically, we go trash the advanced assembly lines because the Desperado gives my money back. We go get Moon because you can't let that sit on the table. And that was, yeah, it was really surprising to get the Moons for free like that. And then let's check this. Are you still being cheeky? No, it's another Jeeves. Of course it is. I knew you had one in hand. I probably could have predicted that. Now, what do we do with our last click here? This is a real good question. We could poke R&D, see 2 fresh cards. We could draw and throw away that Desperado. We could try to make them res the ice over the sand, but I don't like that. So we're going to go ahead and get the clip on the table so that it's not in danger of being arced. And we are going to poke HQ. And wow, super lucky. 1 more steal. Now I'm on match point. And the only problem is that I have let my money dip dangerously low. I can't install Temujin without a career fair. But what I can do, and this is going to be relevant, is play a Siphon. So they go Ultraviolet again. That's 3 Ultraviolet clearances, 2 of them with G's on the table, so the efficiency is difficult to keep pace with. They think for a long time, but they actually make a pretty sick play here. They take the Ultraviolet install to throw an agenda on the Sand. And then they take the Jeeves click to take a counter off Efficiency Committee. Come on, man. I know you can do it. I was really impressed at the time. There you go. They res it. They take the Efficiency Committee click. They play a Shipment. Nice. So there's another score. So that puts them at 2 and threatens to fast advance the game out, but also gives me more air encounters. As you can see, I decided to go ahead and draw with some of those, and yep, there it is. There's the Siphon. So that gave me enough to draw twice and then still be able to clear these tags. So we Siphon, get that bank going again, and we don't have to clear these tags and draw again until the round is over, because you don't want to overdraw and throw cards away. I got 3 clicks. This is a pretty good turn. I can pretty easily check R&D, and I want to do that. So we're going to check, and oh, now I'm looking real good here because I realize that I can run R&D for a net 3 credits, which is pretty good every turn. But it doesn't matter. There's the beta test for a steal, and the game ends in victory. Hooray. You didn't think I was going to post a loss for my first recording ever, did you? No, that would be ridiculous. So in the end, this is a slightly atypical Moons. It was not super horizontal, and the guy even said it later. I cut the video off, but the guy said, this is not a Moons deck. He said, this is not Moonanites. I just use Moon for the draw. I'm not really sure how that is not a Moons-based deck. And obviously he made great use of Ultraviolet Clearance and Jeeves, as well as that Sand. That hot Sand could be real dangerous if the game goes on much longer. But it didn't. Closed it out and won against any HB deck that goes fast. You've got to get your Mongoose or your, Mimic or whatever your killer is, and you've got to get some R&D multi-access going fast. If it becomes affordable to do so, or even profitable if you have the right combination of bad publicity, Desperado, Temujin contract, whatever, Data Sucker, then you can repeatedly check HQ as well to control that hand and make sure they can't just install a bajillion cards and sneak an agenda out or, fast advance one out. And there it is. Hope you enjoyed. Please have the best day.